welcome to my channel. What are we doing today? Today we are working with these, the core paints. Today I have this illustration that I've already pre-drawn out. It was a art challenge that I did last year in November. And let me fix this a bit here. Yeah. It was an art challenge that I did last year in November. And as usual, I draw these illustrations and I just leave them there. And so today, because this is cellulose paper, this is the pecan, the Ucreate, well, pecan Ucreate 140 pounds, 300 GSM paper, and it's a cellulose paper. I want to try these core paints out on this. The brush that I've been using so far with these core paints and actually been having good results are these. These are the natural hair brushes that I've been using. I know I should be using, I also should be using my synthetic brushes with these, but I've been using these natural hair brushes. And yeah, you would have seen me having trouble with one natural hair brush. So to supplement that, I'm using this number 4 Square Wheel by Rosa Gallery, because the number 6 Art Secret brush doesn't work for me. And I'm also using the Art Gallery number 2, the Art Gallery now, Rosa Gallery number 2 Square Wheel. So I've been using these brushes and actually been enjoying the experience so far. So far, not using synthetic brushes, but I will use synthetic brushes somehow one day with these core paints to see how they swatched out. But less of my blab. Well, you will get my blabbering in the art piece, but less of this intro. And now let's get into it. You see what I'm doing? I'm doing this paint. I should erase that core that I designated. I said, yeah, I can use this for the core, and get to the painting. Well, actually, the first thing you see me do is draw a line with a pencil, because I forgot to distinguish my ground from my sky. And now I'm using the oval brush to dampen the ground part a bit and use some sap green. I kind of diffuse it all over. I like how it diffused on this, but I was having trouble with this paper in the beginning. Like halfway from the beginning, I was having trouble with this paper because I was working with this paints mostly on 100% cotton paper. I wasn't working with it on cellulose paper. And what had happened was that the paints were just staying on top of the paper. And I'm sure you saw me in the beginning having trouble with it, water just draining off the paper. I mean, it was really hydrophobic, you know. And that was the biggest trouble. I went back because I wanted to put some shadows, so I deepened the sap green a bit, but it wasn't diffusing. I mean, it diffused perfectly for the back one that I did, but it did not diffuse for the front piece. So I have a line there, and I'm doing the same thing for the top that I did for the bottom. Going in there first with plain water, then using ultramarine, a diluted form of ultramarine for the sky. And again, I was having trouble with this paper, just having the paint sit on top. I was actually surprised I was able to get in those little corners just above the van with that oval brush. It turned out to be quite a useful brush for me. And the other thing that I wasn't struggling with it, to be honest, I was not struggling with it, but it kind of surprised me was how these natural hair brushes work on this paper. I mean, I'm so used to working with synthetic brushes that the natural hair brushes just seem too soft for this paper for some reason. It wasn't a challenge, it just caught me off guard for a moment. And then I had to, okay, these are natural hair brushes, for somehow this synthetic paper that I'm working with is very tough, I guess. But I was using, I think this was the permanent alizarin crimson for the food van, and then I went back over that. I think this is where I was doing the bottom of the band with the permanent alizarin crimson, and then I mixed the black. I mixed a lot of black for this, guys. I mixed black in all sort of ways for this painting because I wanted the blacks to kind of stand out. This is actually burnt umber with a little bit of gamboge, just to kind of brighten up it a bit. And then I mix for the side of it the black that I use for the steering wheel. I mix that to put into the burnt umber and gamboge to put the side of the chair. And then I mix the permanent and alizarin crimson with a little bit of ultramarine, just to kind of get the top of that, because I didn't want to use the same color. And I kind of darken it up a bit. I diluted it for the top and I darken it for the bottom. And after this, I'm going after the little burgers there. That is just burnt umber with a little bit of gamboge, just to kind of bring out the burgers themselves. And this, gosh, I mixed black for this because I wanted my wheels to be black and white. And the colors I used the Indian red, I used the indigo blue, I used the ultramarine blue, and I used burnt sienna. And that's how I was able to get that black. And it took me a while to get it because different combination, it kind of looked more blue than black, and I wanted a black. So it took me a while to get it. I'm using a little more diluted form of the ultramarine blue mixed with the alizarin crimson for that part. More alizarin crimson than ultramarine. And I really, as you notice guys, I'm really liking this number 2 Rosa Gallery squirrel hairbrush. I use it a lot. And this black was actually that I'm using here was actually the ultramarine with the burnt sienna that I used to the black for the stove part of it. And then I just kind of mix the two blacks together, you know, here and there, to kind of get the other parts, to kind of dilute those two blacks mixed together to get the gray. Finish his mouth because he's digging into that burger. And then I use the burnt umber with, how did I get my skin tone? I don't even remember because I was just mixing colors together. I think it was burnt umber with gamboge with a little bit of ultramarine blue with a little bit of burnt sienna. I think I did that for his skin color, but I was just mixing. I had a small mixing tray, and whatever mix was in the tray, whatever one was almost finished or diluted, I just mixed the color on top of it, so it has a little bit of everything. His hair is actually a combination of the two blacks I mixed. I just put them together, and her shirt, or his shirt, I don't sure who the servant is just straight out Paro Red Light. I think it's Paro Red Light that came in the set. And then I just darkened the black again, and I'm using a diluted form of that black to do the bumpers, the lights. The lights are done with the Hansa Yellow Light. That's just straight Hansa Yellow Light. I use sap green for the burger. Hansa Yellow Light mixed with gamboge for the cheese in the burger, and just a very dark burnt umber for the meat, if you can see it. And his shirt is just the phthalo blue from the set. I think it's a green shade, phthalo blue. And that's what it is. His pants, a part of his pants you're seeing is just a straight indigo, you know. But this was interesting. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't until I got to the second half of this, like literally when I started to paint I'm not sure what you call those things, but literally it wasn't until I got to the second half that I really started to enjoy it, really started to get a feel for these paints on this paper using those brushes, you know. And as you can see now, I'm just going buck wild in there with shadows. But it was really a wonderful experience. I had a lot of fun in the second half. The first half, you know, I was kind of adjusting to the nuance of everything, but all in all, I think I pulled it together. Now I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to join you in the end piece. Okay, I am finished with this. I would have told you what my challenges were regarding these core paints, so you guys know what I was going through. This is my palette. So easy notice, it's just colors mixed on top of colors like I told you I was doing. And all in all, towards the end, I really did enjoy these paints. I might need to start using them with some synthetic brushes just to get a feel of what they're like on using synthetic brushes versus the natural hair brushes. And guys, this has been a wonderful experience. It has been a wonderful exploration of these square paints. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you tried these square paints before? What type of surfaces you use them on? What type of brushes you use them with? Let me know all those amazing, wonderful goodness in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.